the worst angle ever. Thank you YouTube for the worst angle ever. You're all part of the Truman Show. Some of you are a lot more evil than others. The people who work for Evil Corp have designed a platform to enslave your minds. And the enslavement of your mind will entrap your body for life. Everything you do on a daily basis, you think about what you're going to do before you actually do it. What if you have some goofs out there portraying a lifestyle of Gucci and Armani and all these Ferrari and Lambo mansions, you know? What if all these goofs were given this stuff? They didn't earn it. They didn't, you know, there's basketball players, they made a fortune because they rigged the games. There's hockey players that are rich and infamous because they've been rigging the games these elites have been winning money on for decades. A shoe-in is no longer a shoe-in when you have a bad player who commits a crime, who stages or plans to let their team fall. You know, they're 7-0, never lost a game in the playoffs, especially not to the Winnipeg Jets, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, Jets win. What? Oh my God. You know, it's kind of pathetic. I was using that as a hypothetical, but let me make sure you understand. Every single NHL team that's ever existed has rigged a game of hockey that has been put on Pro Line. Okay? Next up, every single NBA team that has ever existed has been rigged, you know? Look at Pete Rose in baseball, you know? Pete Rose goes on to say there are hundreds of baseball players that rig games. It wasn't just him. It's disgusting and despicable. You can even go so far as to say this counts as being rigged as well. A player tested positive for steroids, wasn't kicked out of the game, and the score was allowed to remain the score, even though the player got 6 home runs in one game. Do you get that? Most of you won't. You're sheep, you know, but this is the way that we have been led because you all are too worried about what the score in the football game is. You're all simple. If your biggest worry is which team won the Stanley Cup, the Grey Cup, the Super Bowl, you're pathetic. You know, if your life revolves around a football game, you're pathetic. Think about it. You have a family that you could be teaching and instilling benefits and values and dreams and aspirations and goals, and you could be succeeding at any dreams or aspirations you have. You've given up on yourself. That's why you're watching other grown people play a sport that you're too out of shape to play. Think about it. So, and you got so many armchair quarterbacks and armchair hockey players. It's pathetic what's out there, eh? Can't even pick up a hockey stick and shoot it down the ice without, you know, falling on your face. You can't even throw a football, you know? You can't pass a basketball properly. You know, it's pathetic. You know, the level of capable sports players in the world is very small, you know? And it's small because you do nothing besides sit around and watch sports all day or all weekend. You know, drinking alcohol, you know, which I can't stand, right? So all these things aren't taken into consideration by you, but when I used to watch a soccer game, 96, 97, 98, I always got a uncomfortable feeling in my stomach because I would rather be playing soccer than watching it on TV, and I still stand by that. There's a lot of pathetic. There's soccer players, goalies have given up goals and been found to have accepted bribes, money for letting in goals, right? So every sport has a cheater that's rigged a game for professional betting. Do you know who controls these, oversees the legality of professional betting? Rich old people, period. It's just a joke. It's a big scam. You're all on the Truman Show in some way, shape, or form. You're being used and manipulated on the daily. Okay? All right, let's see here. Let's see. This is episode 5271. Let's go this way. Let's see what we got here. You are all vessels. You can either be empty or you can be full of knowledge. Which do you choose? So we're going to do a little toast and jam this morning. We're using twice the fruit raspberry jam from Blue Menu. This is either from Shoppers Drug Mart or Superstore. I can't remember which one. Super disappointing to be stuck in this mode, but I'm stuck in portrait mode right now. Alright. So now we're gonna get out the damn jam here and put some jam on this. My chick's super loud today. I don't know why she's so loud. Every time, whenever she's in a good mood, she just gets super loud. And of course, I'm pissed. Just pissed at YouTube. So I'm not in a good mood. They gotta fix their internal people. I need to fire a bunch of them. They're so awful at their job. Every single time it goes to the internal team, they somehow cock over my entire operation and screw up everything. This will be no different. I can reassure you of that entirely. This will be no different. Right, I've made her breakfast. I'm not sure which one is hers. I'm gonna sip them both. Oh, it's that one. Man, that peppermint tea is so good. Let's try the salted caramel from Stash. Oh, wow. That's nice. Alright, give me 1 second here. Alright, give me 1 more second. I gotta grab something else here. Ready? Huh? You ready? Good catch. Well, I'll tell you this, my chick has got a lot tougher than most of your chicks will ever be. She's just tough, you know. She's come a long way with, you know, she has bad stomach cramps. She's a woman, and she doesn't have bad ones anymore. She had an IUD put in a long time ago, and there's been some complications with that, and nothing major, nothing, it's fine, but it's just in general, you know. She used to be a lot more like, now she realizes that other people feel this way all the time and still get stuff done. I don't know the level of pain she's feeling. I imagine it's fairly good. I just don't think it's like drastic that like you're bedridden for 4 days. I could see bedridden for a day maybe, or half a day, but now she's never bedridden at all. But there were times where she was, you know, she just wasn't as tough as she is now. She complains less about cold. She'll just get cold and then be like, "Oh, I'm very cold," when she has to warm up. But I'm in like minus 20 degrees Celsius. That's like some of your coldest weather most of you will ever feel. That's nothing. We're not even in winter yet, and we had minus 20 here a couple weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago. And you know, I naturally grew up with not naturally, but I grew up with a loser father who didn't give us any, like, I didn't have warm clothes, or I didn't get like dressed up all tight, like snug as a bug. I used to go out with like shorts in the middle of December. One time I slammed my baby toe in the door, like it was like, there was a gash. My toe was like bent, my nail ripped off, and he didn't even look at it for more than half a second. He's like, "Oh, you'll be fine." I was 4 or 5, you know? Other things too, like he pushed me down into the coffee table. I actually hit like the corner of a coffee table and I knocked out my 2 bottom teeth. I was 4 or 5, and he wasn't sorry or nothing, you know. He used to pick me up by my ears, just weird stuff, you know, like a person should never do to a child. So I grew up feeling pain like most of you could never imagine from a child, like a tiny boy. My dad wasn't a weakling. Like, he could probably beat up most of your dads in a second, and that makes it a lot worse, you know. Um, yeah, just saying, like, just people don't understand what pain is. Most people complain about the slightest bit of pain. You know, you go and clog up our healthcare system for nothing, you know? What I'm trying to make you guys aware of is that you need to take responsibility for yourself and realize that a hospital isn't always going to be there for any of you. So learn how to cope with pain now before it gets to the point where you actually severely need help and you're at the point of sissiness, we'll call it, and you've never felt it's not that you have to inflict pain on yourself. You just have to man up, you know, woman up, and deal with your pain. Just there's two sides of your mind, right? One side, ow, 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 and the other side is like pure serenity. You want to go and put your mind on the serenity side. You have to slow your breathing, calm yourself, and don't panic. As soon as you panic, you're no longer able to cope with pain. So, um, I learned from a very young age that you have to block out the pain, and that's just how I grew up. But then I got older and, like, you know, I got bullied or whatever by I was like 10, 11, and 12, and we'd get bullied by the kids who are a grade or two or three older than us, and we'd get beat up. And then after that, you move into high school, and then you messing with the oldest of the dumbest kids, right? And they would beat us up, right? Not all the time, not every day, but once a week, twice a week, we'd get beatings. And then I don't know, I was in about grade 10 and I started getting like we would always try and fight back, but you can't fight back somebody who can just take your arms and pin them to the ground, right? Like there's what can you do at that point? Nothing. So, you know, you got to understand that eventually you can fight back. And you're not always going to win, but at least you tried. Um, so fighting back mentally, you know, spiritually is a thing. You know, you can if someone projects a physical blow on you or violence or words of pain, you can reflect it, you know, with your mind. Don't take it in. Don't sit there and keep thinking, oh, this person said this about me. Don't be all, woe is me. Just get by, like, forget it. Block them out. Don't talk to them anymore. Block them on social media. There's all kinds of ways now that you're able to reflect and deflect an evil's pain that they're trying to push on you. So don't don't play don't play the victim. What you should be doing is looking to play the sheriff, or uh, you know, or just blocking them out and forgetting about them, because it's that easy to forget about a bully that is online. You can just forget about him. Um, Also, the platform that you're being bullied on, go directly to the platform owner and say, this is happening to me. These words are being, you know, said about me. Take criminal action, you know, sue them. You can, there's a lot of things you can do now to defend yourself online. And to people that are evil, they deserve evil. So you can't forget that, right? Like, karma will get them, whether you know it or not. Their karma will get them. Eventually, a person will do the wrong thing, do something to someone whose uncle is very prominent, and the payback is a crazy way they get paid back. You never know what's coming. In fact, here in Canada, there's a billionaire. They propped him up like a statue. A billionaire. Do you know how billionaires get rich? Off the backs of good people. Period. There is not one billionaire that's out there that hasn't stolen from every person in their village. So this guy in Toronto, or I don't even know where he was, somewhere in Canada, this guy got fucking propped up, you know, and they sat him up like a statue, you know, and you know, I have no loss, no remorse for any billionaire out there that is savagely done in. It's coming, you know. What do you think is going to happen when people realize you enslave an entire city with your shitty wages? And like, what do you think is going to happen? Privately owned TV stations that lie about the news every day. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think we're going to do? Think we're going to just idly stand by forever? No. Through the grapevine, I've heard there's protocols in place to try and protect these types of privatized organizations and people who own them, right? I heard through the grapevine also that nobody's going to ever live up to what these protocols are. No one will ever, and I'm not going to get into it. Let's just say, if you're evil out there, you better watch yourself. Good people will catch up with you real soon, real quick. You know, I can't even begin to express how many people in Canada break the law with regard to many things, but we'll just talk on a couple here. You know, they don't wear the mask in stores, and they're sick, and they're going into stores. They're not quarantining. You know, something happened here in Winnipeg. Somebody broke the law, and then hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other people also decided to start breaking the law, and they created a pandemic here in my city. And I see very lax protocols for the protection of good people within stores, and it pains me. It pains me to know, because I see the full picture, the entirety of it, and it's that they aren't protecting us. No one is protecting you. You're on your own. Okay, just so you know, you're on your own, and most of you are sissies, little wusses. You know, you can't even figure out how to change a tire, let alone protect yourself or your family. And that just, it pains me to know that there is such an evil group of people here in Manitoba and Winnipeg that are absolutely causing this spread. You know, they aren't protecting their families or their community. So it's very sad. Every store I go into, I see a person, especially old people, and they have these huge noses. Every race, not I'm not gonna specify any race. I've seen with these huge fucking noses, and they don't even put the mask. The mask goes up to here, and it doesn't cover their huge schnoz. And I just think to myself, like, where is my fucking badge so I can, like, not arrest? I just want to fine you. A huge fucking fine. I want your full name, where you live. I want you monitored. I want you under surveillance, you know? Do you remember the day when police used to monitor a marijuana person? Police used to actually surveillance. They used to park a cop car. This is in the 90s. This is how they surveyed people. They used to park a cop car at the park 2 or 3 blocks away from a guy's house that was being surveyed because he was a cannabis user. This is what police used to do with the taxpayers' dollars. This is the level of enforcement that they used to use in the 90s. Now, people are spreading a deadly disease with no fucking cop intervention here in Winnipeg. And I'm livid. So I want to understand why. I want to understand the protocol. Like, how many police are there in Winnipeg right now? Why are we not surveying these houses that are known quarantine homes? Why? Why do we not have fucking ankle bracelets on these sick people that are not allowed to leave their house? It's not a crime to be sick, but it's a crime if you go spreading that disease when you full well know that you're fucking sick with a virus that's highly contagious. And the answer to all these questions is what I said in the beginning. They just don't care. This is purposely happening. Obviously, they spent all that money in the 90s to keep us safe from a pot dealer. Are you fucking kidding me? But now, nobody is being surveyed. They're carrying around a deadly virus inside of them. Still going to work every day. You know, this is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But remember, all of you voted because you thought you were doing the right thing. Remember that. Look where your votes got you now.